Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told out of PTCGRadio. So today, it's time to talk about Galarian Slowbro V. Of course, the Isle of Armor DLC has now been released. That's out in the wild. I have done a review of that on my channel. I'll try and link it in the description if I remember. I loved it. I'm sorry. I know I'm not supposed to, but I really enjoyed it. Sorry. But Galarian Slowbro V we need to take a look at. But what say I hear you say? Didn't we do this a couple of weeks ago? Yes. And basically, the reason we're going through it today is because it's been a couple of weeks since we looked at it before. Because we now also do have the actual information, which is something we did not have when we looked at it first time round. And because we've had a bit of time to have a little bit of a think, so let's have a roll through, shall we? Now, one thing I would like to say straight off the bat, I was right. Totally called the attack, totally called the retreat cost. Boom. Of course, if you want an example of where I was wrong, remember when I predicted these Pokemon Vs, I said I don't know what the lightning one would be. We'd had all the others hinted at, not the lightning one. But I told you the one and only Pokemon I was sure it couldn't be was Pikachu. Yeah, it was Pikachu. Not always right, ladies and gentlemen. Not always right. Now, the retreat cost of 3 is a big problem. We're going to get there in a minute. But it basically means you can't use Air Balloon. Yes, you can use other tricks. We'll get there in a minute. Now, the weakness to fighting sucks because it's the same weakness that Eternatus VMAX has got and Crobat has got. People are going to be going after that weakness. It's not good. Being a Darkness Pokemon, you will actually have Black Market Prism Star. That's going to survive the rotation. So you'll only give up 1 prize when KO'd if you've got Darkness Energy attached rather than 2, if you can keep the stadium out. That is actually a really nice thing. We like this a lot. Plus, it means it works with Eternatus. You know, not all bad. Not to mention you are hitting weakness against stuff like Oricorio, which still sees a rather huge amount of play, quite frankly, and Dragapult VMAX. But again, there are questions about how much play they're gonna see when Eternatus starts running around. Now, the real hook of Galarian Slowbro here is the ability, which says once during your turn, if this is your active Pokemon, you may use this ability. The defending Pokemon is now poisoned. Cool. You just get automatic poison on your opponent's active Pokemon. An automatic poison is good. Let's not forget that you do 1 damage counter between turns. 1 after yours, 1 after theirs, 1 after yours, 1 after theirs, etc. And let's not forget that we've got that Toxicroak now that will make it 3 after yours, 3 after theirs, and so on and so forth. So it does add up very, very quickly. Problem is, we don't really want to keep this dude in the active. We will sometimes, we'll get there. But a lot of the time, what we want to do with Galarian Slowbro is get in the active and out the active. In the active, then out the active. Get in the active, do a bit of poisoning, get out the active. That's what we want to do here. And it's not an option we've got terribly easily. It's why I wanted the retreat cost of 2. Now, bearing in mind that the Galarian Slowpoke are very fast in the Pokemon game, why can't we have a lower retreat here? Why not? That'd be cool, right? I'd enjoy that. I'm going to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, it's actually like really genuinely sad because you can't use Air Balloon. Now, there are some things that you can do. We basically have 2 options. We've got the Stadium, Dark City, which gives all of your basic Darkness Pokemon free retreats. That includes this dude. And then we've got the energy card, Hidden Darkness Energy, the new one that's going to be coming out in Darkness Ablaze, which is a Darkness Energy plus a Float Stone in 1. If it is attached to a Darkness Pokemon, it gives you free retreats. Okay. Worth pointing out, Galarian Slowbro does still have the same speed stat as regular Slowbro, so, I don't know. Still really annoying. And the problem here we've got is that I don't want to use either of those things. Now, I didn't mention these in the previous video, so we probably should mention them here quickly. It is not ideal. You see, The problem is, Hidden Darkness Energy will give you free retreat, but it's your attachment for the turn. And let's say I'm playing an Eternatus VMAX deck. Remember, Eternatus VMAX does 30 damage for each Darkness Pokemon you've got in play, and your ability is a Sky Field as long as you only play Darkness Pokemon. So you want random Darkness Pokemon like this to flick in and out the active and then take up bench space doing extra damage, but giving you a bit of love at the same time. So this would be cool. But you also need your energy on Eternatus, and you're not going to be playing much energy acceleration for Darkness. The days of Dark Patch are long gone. Maybe you flip the coin with Turbo Patch, give it a bit of a go. Maybe you use Rose, which accelerates energy to VMAX Pokemon, but a lot of the time with this, you're just going to be manually attaching. So you don't want to use your attachment for the turn to Galarian Slowbro, especially if your opponent goes and drops something like a Giratina, the one from Unified Minds, which will then get rid of that energy, and then you've wasted your energy attachment. No, I don't like that. As for Dark City, I mean, look, there's no one stadium I look at with Eternatus and go, I have to play that. But actually, there are so many good stadiums around. Something like Rose Tower, for instance. Now, Rose lets you attach 2 basic energy from your discard to one of your VMAXs, but you have to discard your hand. And Rose Tower is then Oranguru in a stadium, which is to say once during either player's turn, they may draw until they've got 3 cards left in their hand. So if you're playing Rose, you actually really do want Rose Tower, rather than something like this. But here's the thing. We got a lot of Darkness decks around at the moment. Darkness decks aren't new. How many of them are playing this? If Dark City was a really good stadium, we imagine it would be seeing a lot more play. But it's not, so it's probably not a great stadium. It seems really good with Weavile, incidentally, because of course, Weavile lets you move all your Darkness energy around the field as you like. Basic only, it doesn't work with Hidden Darkness energy, and Dark City gives your basic Darkness Pokemon free retreat, so you retreat and you move your energy around to your other attackers, but it's just not seeing much play at the moment. So, I'm sorry, all this is just a long-winded way of saying, I want to get this in and out the active nice and easily, and I don't think I'm able to do that, because I don't get to use Air Balloon. That is why in the previous video I was so hoping for a retreat cost of 2. Now, as for the attack here, we've got 2 Darkness, 1 Colorless Energy, Stranding Shot, 130, and like we suggested, the defending Pokemon can retreat during your opponent's next turn. And you can see how these fit in together. When you're in the active, you poison them, then you stop them retreating, so they've got to have a switch or else they're taking extra damage. And maybe you drag up something like a Crobat. Sure, Darkness decks are going to love Crobat, but actually non-Darkness decks are going to love Crobat too. The ability is Shabin, but you can only use one of them during your turn. You can bench more, but you don't get the ability. So 180 HP, and this will be quite nice. You hit them for 130, and they're poisoned. Oh no, now they can't retreat. Comes back to your turn, job's a good un. You can maybe even try and use multiple Toxicroak here to manipulate a situation where your opponent gets KO'd by poison coming into your turn. That would be quite nice. I mean, something like a Dedenne, for instance. You hit them for 130 with 1 Toxicroak on the bench. They take 20 from poison. And then coming into your turn, they take another 20, get KO'd, your opponent puts another Pokemon active, and round you go, and you try and use more and fewer Toxicroak. Remember, you can always use Scoop Up Net to get them off the field if you need to try and manipulate the damage so they get KO'd from poison coming into your turn. And you're not the strongest Pokemon out there, but certainly if you can drag up a Pokemon that's not going to be attacking, like a Crobat, like a Dedenne, and trap them in the active, get some cheeky prizes, this could work. And this is probably my favourite thing about Galarian Slowbro. It's not a cheap attack, but you have got stuff like Weavile to help you out here. I just don't know why I'm playing it over Eternatus. I like it, but do you want to be doing 130 and sticking them in the active, or do you just want to be doing 270? And I like that I can stay in the active and poison them, but don't forget we've got that Garbodor that just sits on the bench and automatically poisons your opponent's active. And I know that's a stage 1 and it's more space in your deck, etc, etc, but you don't have to be in the active. You don't have to try and get out of the active. Galarian Slowbro really strikes me as a Pokemon that is almost good enough. It's trying, and it wants to be, and it is so close to being good enough, but it's not quite good enough yet. And that's a problem as far as I'm concerned. It's so close to being good enough, and it's really trying to be good enough, and at the end of the day, I can't see myself putting this into a deck. And that is about the meanest thing I can say about a particular Pokemon. I just can't see myself putting it into a deck, because I don't know what purpose it's serving that other Pokemon aren't. Yes, it stops them retreating, but let's not pretend it's the only Pokemon that does that. Yes, you can get cheeky KOs by using boss's orders and dragging something active, but you can do that with a million other Pokemon. Yes, you can poison them, but we've got Garbodor that does that. I don't think it's an objectively bad Pokemon in a vacuum, but with the other cards we've got available, I just don't think I'm going to be using it, so I'm going to be giving it an ordinary, everyday, run-of-the-mill free Wassies. I don't think it's bad, but I don't think it's going to see play, if I'm honest with you. But hey-ho. I, however, would like to know what you think and whether you're more bullish on this than I am, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWassie, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can, well, get some bonus pods. All that kind of stuff. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.